course, Jubilee is not functioning as a party. There is a problem.
That is the first deputy president elected under the 2010 Constitution, Deputy President William Ruto, tonight speaking exclusively to our Joe Ageo here on Citizen Television. It's a bear-it-all interview where he is pouring his heart out over the troubles in Jubilee and warning that he has got options. You want to know about all of these conmen and cartels that he says have taken over the party. That interview is live in this broadcast. The hashtag to use, Ruto Speaks Out, at Citizen Television Kenya, at Yvonne Okwara, and at Jageo for your feedback. We have that, and these are the top stories here tonight. Tracing the Migori millions, how Governor Obado shared out county cash with family. Anti-corruption wave. DCI questions former KPA boss Daniel Manduku as others track Aisha Juma over graft.
What we are asking is this normal? It's not.
KEMSA procurement saga. MPs question suspicious procurement procedures.
Live from Citizen TV, this is Tonight with Yvonne Okwara Matole.
On this day, 10 years ago, the third president of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki, presided over the promulgation ceremony for the first ever people-driven and people-centered Constitution of Kenya. And a journey of mixed fortunes it has been for the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which tonight is under the review of politicians, legal experts, observers, and the ordinary mwananchi. The 10th anniversary of the Constitution is not just bringing a mixed bag of views, but also calls for new constitutional changes. Calls by no less President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Katiba at 10 continues here on Citizen TV. Deputy President William Ruto is tonight firing a warning that he will leave Jubilee if the ongoing confusion in the party is not resolved. The deputy president says the party has been hijacked by people he referred to as busybodies, conmen, and brokers. Ruto also spoke about his perceived isolation in government and the war on corruption. Here now is part of that interview that will be airing in the course of this live newscast.
What has changed, Bwana Deputy President, because we were in this country when the two of you came to power. You seemed to have a very public camaraderie. People would see you sometimes even wearing the same shirts and ties. We don't see that anymore. Are you telling the country tonight that nothing has changed in that relationship from day one to today, 2020?
Maybe the style could have changed. You know, maybe it's not always that you do things the same way. And it is the president who determines how things are done.
Your supporters don't seem to be very happy. At least people we know who support you, even in both houses of parliament, we've seen them come out and say the deputy president is being mistreated, is being sidelined, is being ignored. We saw them even just a couple of days ago.
Joe, I think before we go that far, we are discussing 10 years of the Constitution. Right?
And it is the Constitution that made you the deputy president in the manner it is. So I'm just trying to figure out how it is working 10 years later.
There are, of course, because we are looking at the Constitution, if you ask me about what I think about the position of deputy president or indeed other deputies, especially deputy governors, because there is a lot of issues around those which some people have said maybe some people are idle, they're earning a salary and they're not doing any useful work.
What is your standing within the Jubilee Party today?
What do you mean standing?
Because we've seen a cacophony going on in that party. We don't even know who is, for example, the vice chair of the party resigned, come back. We don't know anything that's going on in the party. Is Jubilee functioning as a party?
Well, of course, Jubilee is not functioning as a party. There is a problem. The party has been hijacked by busybodies and conmen, and brokers like Morade and company. Yeah, people who have no clue where why the philosophy behind Jubilee. They were nowhere.
You have painted a rather desperate picture here about your party, Jubilee.
No, it's not desperate. It's
because
just a realistic figure, a realistic situation.
Yeah. So, but in a sense, it looks like a gloomy picture you're painting about your party. You're the deputy leader of that party. You have a leader of the party, and you're saying you're going to try and resolve these things. Hopefully, you will. But what happens if you don't manage?
You see, we will cross that river when we get there. And if it becomes completely hopeless and Jubilee is hijacked by these brokers, then Waswahili wanasema kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa kupika.
And much more of that interview in this live newscast. Remember, the hashtag to use is Ruto Speaks Out at Citizen TV Kenya, at Yvonne Okwara, at Jageo. We're looking forward to your feedback on that. We just have a few stories we want to get to and then get you to that exclusive interview on this 10th anniversary of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Now, here's some other news making headlines tonight, and it's all about the war on graft that has kicked up a notch. Migori County Governor Okoth Ogbado, his 4 children and 6 co-accused persons will remain in custody until Monday next week, when the Anti-Corruption Court will rule on their bail application. The 11 accused persons denied 28 charges that include conspiracy to defraud the Migori County government of 73.4 million shillings. Sam Gituku reports of the money trail that investigators believe saw the millions of shillings channeled through businesses owned by one family to Obado's 4 children.
Obado and his family denied charges of being part of a conspiracy to defraud Migori County before Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi, the governor accused of conflict of interest by indirectly benefiting from public resources through his children. All 11 suspects, 6 of whom are owners or directors of 13 farms, denied the allegations. Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi will rule on Monday on whether the 6 will be released, and if yes, on what terms. The prosecution will rely on ESCC documents to show the money trail that led to the loss of 73.4 million shillings to Obado's 2 sons and 2 daughters. Between 2013 and 2016, Migori County government paid out 371 million shillings as payment for supplies to some 13 farms owned by the family of Obado's proxy, Jared Kwaga. Of this, 139.9 million shillings was paid to 12 farms, those owned by Kwaga's mother, Penaina Ouma, receiving 27.3 million shillings. Patroba Ochanda's 3 farms received 55.5 million shillings, while Joram, another brother of Kwaga, had his farms receiving 49.1 million shillings. Kwaga's wife, Christina Kenye, who runs 2 farms independently, received 7.76 million shillings. All these farms are said to have channeled 106 million shillings to Jared Kwaga's account at a commercial bank. He is in turn believed to have forwarded 15.6 million shillings to Governor Obado's 3 children. Dan Okoth receiving 11.3 million shillings, Susan Okoth 1.95 million shillings, and Jerry Okoth 2.3 million shillings. 163.5 million shillings from the county government was paid to 3 farms, 2 owned by Kwaga's elderly mother Penaina that received a total of 100 million shillings, and the other run by his wife Christine that received the balance. Subsequently, 15.5 million shillings is said to have been moved to Misoft Limited, a company owned by Kwaga and his wife. Out of the money, the trail leads 9.8 million shillings to the governor's children. Dan Okoth, believed to have received 1.8 million shillings in his account, Susan receiving 5.9 million shillings, while Jerry received 2.17 million shillings. Some 30.6 million shillings is said to have been paid to Joram Opala's firm by the county government. Opala is one of Kwaga's brothers. The money trail shows his father paid out 10.8 million shillings to Dan Okoth, Obado's son, money believed to have been used to buy 2 sport utility vehicles. Of Migori's payout, 37.4 million shillings is said to have been paid to Joram Opala's firm, and subsequently 2.5 million shillings transferred to Obado's 2 sons. In total, the recipient firms contributed 38.4 million shillings as cash transfers to Obado's 3 children, money that the DPP says was used to pay for the school fees, upkeep, medical fees, and other costs while abroad. The second basis of Obado and Kagwa families' prosecution is in how 34.5 million shillings found its way to a house in one of Nairobi's prime estates, with rental benefits said to go to Obado's daughter, Evelyn. At the start, 325 million shillings of Migori County payments have been traced to various firms. 17.1 million shillings is said to have been paid to Donkey Press, a firm belonging to Christine Akenyi, Kwaga's wife. The firm is said to have transferred 9 million shillings as payment for the Loresho Ridge house. Out of 203 million shillings paid to top firms associated with Kwaga's family, 134 million shillings was found to have been transferred to Kwaga's personal account. 9.6 million shillings was further wired to pay for the Loresho house. 43.5 million shillings, according to the document from ESEC, was paid to Maysoft Limited, the firm owned by Kwaga and wife Christine. Out of that, 6.9 million shillings was used to pay for the Loresho house. 5.6 million shillings has been traced to Joram's firm, out of which 4 million shillings paid for the Loresho house. 5.6 million shillings was paid to Patroba, Kwaga's second brother, out of which 5 million shillings paid for the Loresho house. In total, the firms and individual contributed 34.5 million shillings in buying the Loresho Ridge house, a property believed to benefit Obado's daughter, Evelyn, said to have been receiving the rental income. And with that, a governor's family has 5 of its members in the dock, while another family of 6 businessmen and women face charges of conspiracy to defraud the county government. They will remain at the ESCC police cells at Integrity Center till Monday next week. Sam Gituku, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
And that wave of anti-corruption continues in the country. Tonight, former Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director Daniel Manduku is at DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road over a multi-million shilling scandal at the Kenya Ports Authority. DPP Nurdin Haji early today directed the apprehension and prosecution of Manduku in what is turning to be a wave of high-profile arrests. And as Stephen Latour reports, detectives are tonight also in pursuit of Malindi MP Aisha Jumwa after the DPP ordered her arrest.
A busy week for the DPP, ESCC and the DCI. Former KPA boss Daniel Manduku is being questioned by detectives and is being processed to be presented in court tomorrow. In a statement, the DPP says DCI detectives have provided sufficient evidence that shows KPA made an overpayment of 244.8 million shillings to contractors for the manufacture of concrete barriers. The works were not completed. The DPP notes that Manduku, who was the KPA MD at the time, handpicked 10 companies for the contracts, with payments approved by Works Officer Juma Fadhili Chigulu, who is also being sought. In giving his approval for prosecution of Manduku and Chigulu, the DPP notes that Manduku approved the concrete barriers project at the Inland Container Depot, Kilindini Port and Makongeni Goods Shed without a budget and procurement plan for the 2018-2019 financial year. He also observes there was no requisition made for the project by the user department in KPA. There was also no prior planning before engaging in the project for the manufacture of the concrete barriers. Manduku's recent tribulations comes months following a protracted probe that saw a clash between the DPP and the DCI. Also on the DPP's table is Malindi lawmaker Aisha Jumwa, who is being sought by DCI detectives after the DPP approved her arrest. Jumwa is facing charges of money laundering, forgery and conspiracy to commit a corruption offense. Already 6 people have been arrested in Malindi, including CDF manager Wachu Abdallah, and have been ferried to Mombasa. They are expected to be presented in court tomorrow. Malindi MP Aisha Jumwa and her accomplices are facing a corruption allegation of swindling 57.7 million shillings from the Malindi CDF coffers. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
The Parliamentary Health Committee has hinted that interference by the Ministry of Health led to the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency flouting procurement regulations that have now seen the medical supplier under investigation by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. According to the procurement officer, instructions from the principal secretary at the ministry that narrowed down to who, what, and at how much they were to acquire goods from were not the norm. KEMSA has been on the spot for a few weeks now for flouting procurement regulations, putting billions of COVID-19 shillings at risk.
The chairman of the KEMSA board was today questioned by the Parliamentary Health Committee of concern their procurement procedure and the now 6.2 billion shilling stock that lays in the suppliers' warehouses with no buyers, among them being at least 300,000 masks as well as 304,000 personal protective equipment.
Were we rushed in buying too many of them, Madam Chair? Maybe. But nobody had done a projection of how long this pandemic would be.
According to the committee members, it wasn't clear why the stock was still in KEMSA stores, with KEMSA insisting they were selling the commodities at a lower price at the time compared to other market players.
If you are the lowest at that time, Nairobi Hospital will have come to buy from KEMSA and Aga Khan.
Some of our traditional suppliers did not supply us with PPEs and masks and things like those because they were getting better prices in the private hospitals.
And while the committee members doubted the board's response, questions arose as to whether market surveys were done before the procurement of a large amount of supplies was made. In the board's defense, there was no time for that, as it was an emergency procurement under the request of the Ministry of Health.
And in an instruction from the PS, instructing KEMSA to procure, at the same time she's given a list of where to procure from, she's given a list of prices, and she has also given a list in terms of the items. What we are asking, is this normal?
It's no.
Okay.
So that's not the norm.
Yes.
We have established fraud. This committee has actually established fraud in that mode of procurement. So that in itself should vitiate all that has been done by KEMSA on the basis of that letter.
According to Kembe Getora, they had done this with the ministry before, and even though it appeared illegal, it was not. It was just unprocedural. However, that opened a can of worms as to what the right procedure should be. According to Edward Buluma, the acting procurement officer at KEMSA, negotiations begin after goods have been delivered.
There's a possibility that then you can renegotiate this price.
Yes, there's that possibility.
There is.
Because the negotiations have not taken place.
According to the committee members, a myriad of questions remain unanswered as to KEMSA's procurement process, which has now seen a number of companies which deliver supplies awaiting payment. And while Kembe Getora insists that the unprocedural process applied could affect whether the suppliers are paid or not, KEMSA says EACC or the committee is to offer direction on that. Raquel Muigai, Citizen TV.
Now, as the country marks 10 years since the new constitution was enacted, ODM leader Raila Odinga has hinted at the resumption of a push to amend the document through the Building Bridges Initiative, BBI. The former Prime Minister, while echoing his handshake partner President Uhuru Kenyatta's remarks yesterday, said the declining number of COVID-19 cases offered an opportunity to discuss a referendum before Kenyans return to the ballot in 2022. Francis Gashuri reports now on the day's Katiba at 10 activities.
Exactly 10 years since Kenyans adopted a new constitutional order, debate on whether to review it or not is raging. ODM leader Raila Odinga, who with the then President Mwai Kibaki pushed for the new Supreme Law is leading the clamor for changes on key aspects in the Constitution, top among them a departure from the presidential system of government to a hybrid model.
That's why we are saying that a Constitution is a living document. It is not something that is static. We have lived with this Constitution for 10 years. So it was time for us to relook at it and see which one is working, which one is not working. Because it was an experiment.
Odinga, who spoke at his Capitol Hill office in Nairobi when he met a delegation of youth leaders from Mount Kenya and northeastern regions, said a referendum to panel beat some articles of the 2010 Constitution was not a matter of if, but when.
As the President said yesterday, you can see that the curve is leveling, and shortly we're going to come up with a timetable how to move on with our reggae. That the reggae is not stopped. Nobody can stop reggae. The reggae is just on halftime. It will continue.
On the eve of Katiba 10, President Uhuru Kenyatta rooted for amendments through BBI, terming the 2010 Constitution a ceasefire document. The BBI team awaits a date with Kenyatta and Odinga to hand over its report after concluding its task in June.
But the crafters of this social contract also told us and reminded us that a constitution was a work in progress. And as such, we were made to adopt it with a promise that in the future we will make it better. 10 years later, the moment to improve on it, I believe, is now.
We dedicate our nation, our constitution and laws to you, O Lord.
The 10th anniversary of promulgation of the Constitution was marked with various activities, among them Holy Mass at the Holy Family Basilica, presided by Archbishops Anthony Muheria of Nyeri and Philip Anyolo of Kisumu.
Integrity and inclusiveness. These two values are the counterweights to the vice of corruption and negative ethnicity. We have to think about whether we as individuals in our institutions, our leaders, we are implementing the values of the Constitution, because that is what changes a constitution into a lived reality from a dry document.
The question as to whether good or bad laws have been made in the last 10 years is for you to answer. If you are satisfied, pat yourself on the back. You elected good leaders. If you are dissatisfied, look down in shame. You elected bad leaders.
Let's ask ourselves, have we continuously and tactfully spoken for constitutionalism since 2010?
Francis Gashuri, Citizen TV.
All right, so let's take our first break here tonight. And as I do that, here's a programming note. Tonight, we forgot two of our important items here tonight. My explainer and the gang takes a break. But as I've seen some of you say on Twitter, our chief gangster, Joe Ageo, had an interview today with Deputy President William Ruto. And that is what will be airing in place of both the explainer and the news gang. We all take a break for that important conversation on this 10th anniversary of Katiba 2010. The hashtag to use is Ruto Speaks Out. That part of that interview, the first part of it, is coming right after this break. Here's what you can look out for.
The party has been hijacked by busybodies and conmen, and brokers like Murathe and company.
We have a problem. DP Ruto declares he is ready to bolt out of Jubilee.
Painful when they hear the World Bank gave this money.
223 billion shillings that was received in the country.
It is not okay. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to us.
Try Theravita with Brain Smart, a smart combination of vitamins, iron, and minerals that gives children the nutrients they need for a great start for school.
Majina naitwa James Joroge Mwangi kutoka Nyahururu, Laikipia County. Mimi ndiye mshindi wa friji na hili shindano la Jibonde ushinde na festive bread. Vile nilifanya, nilinunua tu mkate yangu ya kawaida. Nikaenda nikaangalia nikakuta kweli hili shindano ni kawaida sababu nimeshida friji. Hili shindano waliko Nairobi peke yake sababu hata mimi nimeshida nikiwa huko Nyahururu. So watu waendelee kununua mkate kila mahali ulipo Kenya hii yetu.
Fuata maagizo yaliyoandikwa kwenye mfuko ili kupata prize yako mara hiyo hiyo. Jibonde ushinde na Festive Promotion ni promotion la DPL Festive. DPL Festive Cares. Sheria na masharti kufuatwa. Mambo sasa ni chap chap na star 487 hash. Kutumia huduma ya star 487 hash ni rahisi. Bonyeza star 487 hash kwa simu yako ya mkononi kisha uchague huduma unayohitaji. Kununua airtime, bonyeza star 487 hash, chagua huduma ya pili kisha weka nambari ya simu na kiasi unachotaka. Kulipia bili ya stima, maji au pay TV, bonyeza star 487 hash kisha chagua huduma unayohitaji na ufuate maagizo. Star 487 hash ni njia salama ya kununua airtime na kulipa bills kwa urahisi. Bonyeza star 487 hash leo. Star 487 hash. Mambo sasa ni chap chap.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix, that is just for me. It really feels very comfy. I don't have to stop playing. Molfix pants fits me perfectly.
An invention from Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
The Samsung Bluetag sale, our biggest sale of the year. Buy the S20 series and get 50% discount on Galaxy Buds. Buy the Note 10 Lite and get 20% discount. A71, A51, 50% off screen repair. Buy the A31 or M11, get a mem card. Buy the A11, get a Safaricom voucher. Buy the 82-inch Samsung TV, get the sound tower. Buy the Samsung fridge, get a cookware set or a blender. Hurry while stocks last. The Samsung Bluetag sale, valid from August 17th to September 6th.
Exotic and exciting fragrances. Babe. Got you covered.
I'm sorry.
Tropical. Do your thing.
When you're facing stubborn stains, you're always in a fierce fight, especially when others are fleeing away. However, with Clearsoft, I can make it so easy.
Clearsoft iko na 3 times particle energy to particles to blue husaidia kutoa mastain ngumu ngumu na ina enzymes za kulinda nguo zako ndio ziachwe zikikaa fresh.
Clearsoft kicks out stains kimateki. Serious.
For baby, only the best will do. So, what's the best diaper for baby? It's got to be the softest, and it should stay dry. That's why Soft Care.
Made from soft, natural cotton, maximum absorption. Side locks ensure zero leaks.
Soft care, every baby's asking for.
Geisha coconut milk and honey, enriched with coconut milk for soft and moisturized skin.
Be strong and last long.
I have to admit, I didn't like Sukuma Wiki when I was growing up, but now I have created a way to make Sukuma Wiki tastier and meatier. I simply add 2 Royco beef cubes, and the end result is a rich, meaty flavor. And today, I have brought along my harshest food critics for a taste test. My kids.
More, please.
Royco beef cubes. Add 2 small cubes for a big, meaty taste.
Karibu, Mom. Let me take care of your hands.
Kwa sababu ni muhimu kutunza mikono ya mama, Omo ina chembe asili ya kutunza mikono ya mama anapofua. Omo, nguvu ya kutoa madoa sugu, kutunza mikono.
Hello and welcome to our continuing coverage of the 10th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution. And what better person to speak to on this particular day? Deputy President William Ruto. He reminded me many years ago that he was the first elected deputy president, still remains 7 years later. Welcome to our discussion here, Bwana Deputy President. I remember I interviewed you at your home not too far from here 7 years ago, and you told me exactly you are the first elected deputy president in the history of Kenya. 7 years down the road, how do you feel about this constitution that made you, in many respects, the first deputy president of Kenya?
Well, Joe, let me first welcome you to this residence once again. And thank you very much for creating time so that we can have this discussion. The constitution we gave unto ourselves is a document that has changed many things in our country, changed the mode of governance, changed how we relate with one another, improved how government works. And I can say without fear of any contradiction that the new constitution has elevated our engagement and our relationships as people, as institutions, as the 2 levels of government. And as Deputy President, I think I can say, having served under the old Constitution and the new Constitution is way superior.
But for you as Deputy President, how different would it have been, you think, if you were the old Vice President?
It is different to be a Deputy President where you are not elected in a constituency, because you can dedicate your time and resources and thinking and energy in serving the whole nation. I have had more time than any other person elected in previous positions like mine to serve Kenya. I have been to many parts of Kenya because I am not tied down to a constituency. That's number one. Number two is that as Deputy President, where I have no single ministry to run, I have also had the leverage to look at government from a broader perspective. And that is why I find the office of the Deputy President much more efficient, much more focused.
Much more focused, you say, Bwana Deputy President, but there are people who would say you don't look happy in that government. There are junior officers arguing with you many times, saying things about you, referring to you in terms that no one would use when referring to someone who is higher up in the government hierarchy.
I don't know.
Are you happy in this government?
Yes. You know, this is my government. Yeah. And it is a government that I worked hard to put in place, supporting my boss, Uhuru Kenyatta, so that we can have this government. As for your thoughts on whether I am happy or not, there are so many people who are happy. There are so many people who are unhappy. And it is not the circumstances. It is how you treat the circumstances around you that determines whether you are happy or not. I mean, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about junior people who call me names, because I would really have wasted a lot of my very valuable time thinking about small people with insults. I am more focused about what Kenya requires of me, what the 8 million plus Kenyans who voted for us, what the 40 million Kenyans in Kenya expect out of their government.
But that sounds like dysfunction where junior people can answer back to their seniors in the same government. Surely there's something wrong with that, isn't it?
There is something wrong with the juniors who insult their seniors. Absolutely. But, you know, that you should ask them, those junior people.
No, I was just following
up. But I'm not
on
bothered myself about them. It's their loss.
But, Deputy President, why I was raising that is because you seem to think this government has functioned very efficiently, but some people see that as dysfunction, that it's... In fact, the other day, one of the newspaper headlines referred to you as a spectator. Please clear the speculation today. What is your status in the government right now?
You know, so many things have been said about me in the last 2 years. A spectator. I have been called a guy who is running an office, a big office without power, all manner of things. But that is for those who are making those descriptions. They don't know about what I do. They don't know about where I stand. I want to tell you, for the avoidance of doubt, Joe, the job I do is a constitutional duty to assist the president in the execution of his duties. Any assignment that has been assigned to me by the president, I have carried out. And I have done it with commitment and dedication.
Do you have challenges of relationship?
You have challenges here of relationships. You have challenges of style. You have challenges of how people want things done. And you have to manage that. It's part of the doing of the job. You know, we are, as I say, politics is different from a church service. A church service, when you say, let's rise up, everybody rises up. In politics, it's different.
Take us through what has changed, Bwana Deputy President, because we were in this country when the two of you came to power. You seemed to have a very public camaraderie. People would see you sometimes even wearing the same shirts and ties. We don't see that anymore. Are you telling the country tonight that nothing has changed in that relationship from day one to today, 2020?
Maybe the style could have changed. You know, maybe... it's not always that you do things the same way. And it is the president who determines how things are done. When the president assigns you a responsibility, you discharge it. When he assigns that responsibility to somebody else, they do it. When he feels that things need to be done in a different way, that's what happens. And I'm happy with it. You know, because I would be concerned if there is any assignment that has been given to me as Deputy President that I have not discharged. But I am sure if you look at the catalogue of the assignments that have been given to me, they are all ticked.
Your supporters don't seem to be very happy. At least people we know who support you, even in both houses of parliament, we've seen them come out and say the deputy president is being mistreated, is being sidelined, is being ignored. We saw them even just a couple of days ago.
Joe, I think before we go that far, we are discussing 10 years of the Constitution.
And it is the Constitution that made you the deputy president in the manner. So I'm just trying to figure out how it is working 10 years later.
There are, of course, because we are looking at the Constitution, if you ask me about what I think about the position of deputy president or indeed other deputies, especially deputy governors, because there is a lot of issues around those which some people have said maybe some people are idle, they're earning a salary and they're not doing any useful work. But I think that the framers of the Constitution left that space so that it is not rigid and it doesn't break, so that whoever is, whether it's a governor or the president, knows they have somebody who can discharge some responsibilities for them and is given that position constitutionally.
Do you think the framers perhaps should have thought about that, perhaps assigned specific duties to the deputy president? Would that have made your life a little bit easier?
My life is easy, Joe. There are people who are complaining out there, but you haven't heard me complain, have you?
But they're your supporters. Surely it should concern you what's hurting your supporters.
And this situation, the one you see around us between the president and myself, is an agreed position, In our first term, we decided to do things in a different way. In our second term, the president chose to do things a different way.
Which way is that?
Which I respect.
Which way is that you agreed about?
No, I'm just saying which I respect. What you see, what you see. That I take a slightly backseat because we want to build the legacy of President Kenyatta. I think for the last several years, it was Ruto. And some people got concerned that maybe we should have Uhuru, because Uhuru is the president. And therefore, for Uhuru to stand out as the president, maybe we should scale down the Ruto part of the Uhuruto, so that Ruto can slightly take a back seat, do less, so that we can project President Uhuru as the leader of government, which is the case, right? I am the deputy president, and I know my place, right? So that is the situation. Maybe other people saw it as a scale down of my duties, but if it is for the good, if it is so that we can have a legacy of the fourth president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, that I am comfortable with, and that is why I am not complaining, because that is something that we have agreed.
Are you confident about the legacy that the president is going to leave? What is it going to be?
We have a solid legacy as a Jubilee administration around infrastructure. What we have done in infrastructure is phenomenal. What we have done in electricity is phenomenal. What we have done about changing the paradigm on education is phenomenal. What we were supposed to do the second term would have actually built on what we achieved in the first term, and that was our housing project that was supposed to create between 2.5 and 4 million jobs. Our manufacturing program that was supposed to go all the way to value addition, agro-processing, manufacturing. Our universal health coverage that was supposed to get many people out of poverty who are now spending an arm and a leg to try to manage their health budgets, and of course the whole area of food production.
You say was supposed to. That sounds very.
We have made progress, not as much as we would have wanted. Of course, several challenges have come in between. We've had to manage the handshake and manage the whole dynamic around the handshake that took quite a bit of our time and energy and resources. We've also had to manage the pandemic that we have. That has again kind of slowed down what we intended to achieve. But to a great extent, we are focused. We want to deliver on our commitment. Going by our record, I think President Kenyatta has a solid legacy to leave behind as he retires in 2022.
Thank you. I know you have spoken a lot about the handshake, and I will not dwell on that, but I just wanted to ask one question. How much of a disruption has it been? Because you seem to say it was one of the disruptions to the legacy idea that the two of you had.
I think the handshake introduced a different dynamic, to the whole operation of government and management of issues, right? And of course, it brought a lot of politics with it. And a lot of politics has a way of charging the environment, creating a lot of negative energy. And that negative energy is what slows down, creates diversionary issues around what we were focused in achieving.
But your boss seems quite happy about the handshake. I don't get the sense that he feels it's a disruption.
Well, that's all fine, but I think you agree that we haven't driven as efficiently as we did in our first term.
Great. There's one other issue that a lot of people had hoped the Constitution would sort out, which is the issue of corruption. And you have been speaking a lot lately about it, on especially the issue that is active and live, the KEMSA scandal. I remember about 2 nights ago you had quite a number of tweets about it. How does that scandal make you feel? You seem to have very strong views about it.
Corruption is a matter that President Uhuru Kenyatta and I, from the beginning, said we wanted to deal with corruption differently. We do not want to politicize. We do not want to sensationalize. We do not want to target people or target individuals or target communities. And that is why we concentrated a lot of our fight against corruption in making sure that institutions are working. We were assisted to a great deal by the new constitution that set up independent agencies that would deal with matters to do with corruption. And I remember in several meetings, we had discussions on how to improve personnel, remuneration, resources that are available to all the institutions that are charged with governance. And that is how we focused. Why I have raised concerns about the COVID-19 so-called billionaires is because of 2 things. And especially, I have focused my attention on the opposition, because as we said before, criminal investigations cannot be prosecuted in the media. You agree with me, Joe, that the reporting in the media around the COVID billionaires is very different from the reporting before. We used to have serialized how investigations are going on in all the other investigations before. Now, the opposition is telling us, don't sensationalize. You know, that's quite a shift. They were the ones who are telling us before, the media is independent. Allow the media to write so that the public can know. How can you shift your position from that now to a position where you are telling the media you are writing rumors, you are sensationalizing? You know, they have had a complete, 180 direction change on what they believed in.
Do you have a theory on why?
Number two, they are now telling us that they want to tell the independent institutions that are charged with corruption and governance what to do. They are now telling them, you wait, there will be, did they say a professional audit or they said a special audit?
Special audits, like professionals, yes.
A special audit. So all of a sudden, the former opposition, as I call them, all of a sudden, they have a completely different view of corruption. And my friend, your guess is as good as mine. Many of the people formerly in the opposition, now somewhere between the opposition and government, are the beneficiaries. Their names have been mentioned all over the place. And they are so shameless, they are boasting about it in corridors everywhere, that now they have found themselves in the right place and they can benefit from largesse of government, including proceeds of corruption. And that is what I am saying. We must stop this kind of nonsense.
How would you rather this situation was handled? This KEMSA scandal. What is your recommendation?
My position is consistent. My position has been, let us not sensationalize. Let us not prosecute things in the media. Let us allow the institutions that are charged with corruption, and they don't need anybody's assistance. The police, the DPP, the courts do not work under the instructions of the executive. They do not work under the instructions of anybody. These are institutions that respond to issues as they are raised by Kenyans, and we should give them the space to do their job.
But
without telling them, wait, let's do a special audit, now don't do, let's just give them the space.
But some people find this surprising, considering the fact that you haven't, in the past, you have not expressed particular enthusiasm about the work, for example, of DCI. I remember sometime, actually in March this year, there's a tweet that you had which says the DCI has been mobilized for political reasons to discredit and destroy my office with all manner of nonsense and to bring me down. This is those in this scheme are boasting that I will not be there soon, since the system cannot elect anybody, they can only kill, but there is God in heaven. You said that just 6 months ago.
Right.
How can you today be saying these are independent institutions that can go ahead and do their work without anyone directing them? That time you didn't believe they were independent. You believed someone was using them.
My position is very consistent, Joe. In this manner, I have been opposed from day one to criminal investigations being profiled in the media, because for purposes of ensuring that these investigations are credible and they are not politicized, they are supposed to be professional. I was against it when the DCI, you saw the DCI in that investigation around an officer who was killed in my office, Kenei. The drama complete with CCTV footage all over the place. And they were not concerned about any other place except my office, right? And there is information I cannot disclose here. I am the deputy president, and I am not a fool. I know what I'm saying. So I was against the sensationalization of the investigations around my officer, Mr. Kenei. Surprisingly, ODM today have joined me to say there should be no sensationalization. Then they said I was interfering.
I understand that.
So I'm consistent. I'm not changing any position.
ODM that, but I have the deputy president here. Correct. Are you saying that is a drama they should take to KEMSA? Because you didn't seem to have confidence in them, but now you're saying they're the only people who can get to the bottom of this.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying that they should take the drama. What I was raising is I was surprised about the change of heart of ODM to do with the drama.
Some people are surprised about the change of heart of the deputy president.
No, they were happy with the drama around my office. They are unhappy today. Although there is no drama, they are unhappy that there is even a reporting of what's going on in KEMSA.
Do you have confidence that DCI and DPP will get
to... That is why I am saying my position is consistent. I was against drama and many other things that I know. And I am against drama even in KEMSA. That's why my position is let us give space to the institutions charged with anti-corruption to do their job. They do not need the former opposition to tell them to wait for an audit. The former opposition should keep off. Yeah, I am happy that they have now realized that drama, sensationalization should not be part of investigations. And it's too late in the day for them to realize that, but it's fine. At least they have come to that realization. And we should allow the institutions to do their job.
But your boss, the president, yesterday directed them, essentially gave them a 21-day ultimatum to get to the bottom of this. You don't think that directing them, telling them independent institutions what to do, are you comfortable with that?
I think that's a question you should direct to the president when you find him.
I'm asking you whether you're comfortable with it.
I'm not the president.
Well, you're not the opposition either.
No,
you've been talking about them for quite some time now, Mr.
I am not the president. So that question would best be addressed in that manner. I think the general view of the president is that it should be handled faster. And I think that is a good position to be because of the concern, of course, of the public around how people would register companies in months and get contracts of billions, how without even an open tender, how equipment like PPEs that cost 3,000 shillings would be sold to KEMSA at 10,000. You know, those are very glaring things. And I think it is correct for the president to say these investigations should be expedited. I know the former opposition want the investigations to be carried out in 60 days.
We don't know that for sure. They haven't said, but a deputy president...
I thought it's already in the public domain. Why do you want to defend it?
But no, I'm not defending anybody. I'm not speaking for them. I'm just wondering why you find it problematic for the people you're calling the former opposition to be seeming to direct these agencies, but you think it's okay for the president to do that. I mean, aren't we under the same Constitution 2010 that gives independence to this?
I haven't said it's okay for the president to direct anybody. And I think if you read the text of what the president says, he said he expects that these investigations would be concluded in 21 days. It is up to the independent agencies to conclude it earlier. All the president is saying there is urgency because the public is concerned.
All right, thank you very much. We are going to take a short break. We are speaking to the Deputy President on this 10th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution, and we still have a lot more to discuss, so don't go away.
If it becomes completely hopeless and Jubilee is hijacked by these brokers, then Waswahili wanasema kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa kupika.
We have a problem. DP Ruto declares he is ready to bolt out of Jubilee.
Oh, do you people think I'm going crazy? You think I'm losing my mind, eh?
I had nothing to do with Maria.
What do you mean?
Did you know there's a laundry bar soap that can help save you time, water, and money? Try Whitewash Extra, the 3-in-1 soap, detergent, and softener.
The Samsung Glutag sale, our biggest sale of the year. Buy the S20 series and get 50% discount on Galaxy Buds. Buy the Note 10 Lite and get 20% discount. A71, A51, 50% off screen repair. Buy the A31 or M11, get a mem card. Buy the A11, get a Safaricom voucher. Buy the 82-inch Samsung TV, get the sound tower. Buy the Samsung fridge, get a cookware set or a blender. Hurry while stocks last. The Samsung Glutag sale, valid from August 17th to September 6th.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night. These are difficult times, and the uncertainty is overwhelming. But we are Kenyans. We bounce back from difficult situations and keep moving forward. We take great pride in our resilience and our strong spirit. We've proven it time and again.
My tough is enough.
We are tough. We keep going. My tough is enough. Today I'm going to show you how to make NutriPro porridge. Unlike other porridges, you don't need to boil the water first before you put in the flour. So to make 4 cups of NutriPro for my family, we are going to need 4 cups of cold water. Add 1 cup of NutriPro flour. Stir until the mixture is even. Place it on medium heat. Occasionally stir your mixture until you bring it to a boil. Looks perfect. Time to serve. Remember, 4 cups of cold water for every 1 cup of NutriPro flour. It's that simple.
A quality product from Tropical Brand.
Si Anita nilikupatia check on the opening day.
Na mimi sikupeana check.
What's wrong with you, Anita? Nilifanya kazi ya uigizaji, film production. Nilijiunga na Viusasa immediately walipoanza na nimekuwa nikiwapelekea films na ni za lugha ya Kiembu, si nimechanganyika na Kikuyu. As a brand, Viusasa imeniinua sana sababu kila mahali unasikia watu wananiambia waliniona Viusasa. So Viusasa kwa njia nyingi imenijenga sana. Compared to other platforms, imenisaidia sana. Sikuwa na chochote nikianza. Ukisikia mtu anasema Viusasa wako na content na ilipi, it depends na type of content. Ukiweka kitu mzuri ukanibishwa watu wataiangalia. And the more the people watch, the more you earn money. Hiyo ndio siri tu. Hakuna mambo ya ati upitie huyu, upitie yule ndio ichukuliwe. Usikae huko na talent yako. You take a step and you'll be there.
Viusasa, empowering Kenyans.
Over the past few months, our country has stood together to keep the COVID numbers down. Every day, new numbers
tell us the same story, that we never let what we can't do come in the way of what we can. Let's keep going.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa. Nabatia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa. Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Alo hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber. Life can be this good.
Happy anniversary.
Mbona hii mabati kina dad na mam bado inakaa mpya? Na hii nyumba imekuwa hapa for so many years. Na pia umelelewa hapa.
Wow, imagine hata nilikuwa sija notice. Rufus, wewe ni fundi wangu wa miaka mingi sana. Haya mabati yatadumu kweli? Huyu kijana nilimwambia anunue mabati ya Dumuzas.
Usibahatishe mabati. Hakikisha umeangalia alama za kudhibitisha Dumuzas halisi. Chagua Dumuzas, mabati inayodumu kudumu. Isitoshe, Dumuzas ndio mabati pekee inayokuja na warranty.
Sitaki tena kubahatisha.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medivax for Dettol.
The Dettol range is available on Jumia. Shop safely and conveniently today.
I love you. 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 Come, let me embrace the four of you together. My four Juanas.
Let us come together and show the generous spirit that is inside of all of us. Cadbury Dairy Milk. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Je, umepiga star 544 hash kuona kama umefaulu kupata smartphone mpya na malipo mdogo mdogo kuanzia shilingi 20 kila siku? Ili ufaulu, lazima uwe unamiliki kabambe. Hakikisha una credit score mzuri, kumaanisha unalipa loans zako kwa wakati. La mwisho ni lazima uwe customer wa Safaricom kwa mwaka moja au zaidi. Ukifaulu, enda kwa Safaricom shop karibu nawe na shilingi 1,000 na national ID. Iwapo hujatimiza mambo haya yote, usife moyo. Endelea kutumia laini yako ya Safaricom na uendelee kupiga star 544 hash ili utimize ndoto la kupata smartphone.
Ni ukweli! Ni ukweli!
Ni ukweli! Si hapo Safaricom ni yako kabisa!
Welcome back. We're speaking to the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, on this 10th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution. When a Deputy President, there are some interesting comments you made lately about deep state and system, saying that some people, whoever they are, have deep state, they have the system, but you have God and people. Coming from the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is in government, as you said, who knows everything in government, who is deep state, who is the system?
I think you should ask Oburu Odinga. He is the owner of this narrative of deep state and system.
But you have been talking about it not once, not twice.
No.
It might be something that concerns you. Surely you should have found out whether there's anything like that.
You know, there is a fallacy which we must deal with. there is a narrative that is being weaved together that elections are not won, they are stolen, according to some people who cannot live with the reality that it's possible to lose an election. And to explain why they lost the election is to create a bogeyman called deep state and system. And you have heard them, talk about, we won the elections, but because we didn't have the system, we didn't have the deep state, our election was stolen. Let me tell you, Joe, we won the elections in 2013 fair and square. President Uhuru Kenyatta won the elections again in 2017 fair and square. And that is why I was telling whoever thinks that there is another way of winning elections other than canvassing the electorate to enjoy themselves and continue waiting for the so-called deep state and system. I know from where I sit that it is God in heaven and the people that matter in any election.
So you go on
and
record
for your
tonight,
information,
yeah,
I have been in election from 1997.
In 2007, I saw you at KICC. We spoke a couple of times. And at that time, you believe some people had stolen the victory that you had won.
It was not me. It was Kivuitu. Kivuitu, you had Kivuitu.
No, you complained about a stolen elections.
Because
you were giving us figures from Juja.
Absolutely, because it was Kivuitu himself who was running the elections, who was telling us, I have no clue. Now, the chairman of the Electoral Commission was telling us, I have no clue where the returning officers are. I am not sure of these numbers. I am not clear about this. Right? So, what do you do when the arbiter, when the fellow who is supposed to tell us whether the election has gone this way or that way is unsure themselves? I don't think we have been in any other scenario where the Electoral Commission have not been sure about the outcome of an election.
But ODM at the time, which you were part of, said that you had won that election, but it was rigged, it was stolen. Are you saying today that you're not sure whether you won 2007 or not?
Let me tell you, Joe, finally, the elections were declared and Mwai Kibaki emerged the winner, right, of that election. And that's it. That's the fact. That is history, right? That is history.
Are you saying that elections in this country have never been rigged, cannot be rigged? Is that your position?
Any election that is rigged, and I'm not saying that there are not cases where elections are rigged. When an election is rigged, people go to court and they overturn them. And the courts look at the numbers, they look at the figures, and the elections are overturned. Right? So I'm not saying there is the best way to know whether an election was rigged or not rigged is to subject it to due process that comes up with an outcome that confirms whether the election was fair or not fair, whether it was rigged or it was fair. So, but from where I sit, it is not easy to rig an election and get away with it. It's not easy.
So all those supporters of ODM who believed that in 2007 the election was not fair, and at the time, I remember very well, a number of you in ODM voiced concern and said that this election had been fiddled with, that it was actually not the true representation of the people. Are you today saying that was all just talk in ODM, or you don't know?
You see, we didn't finally get to a point where we tested what we were saying as against what was announced. If we had gone to an election petition, for example, and like ODM did in 2017, or NASA for that matter, did in 2017, they went to an election. They had complaints. They had concerns. They went before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court looked at the whole election. They came up with a verdict. We didn't agree with it as Jubilee because we believed we had won fair and square. The courts decided otherwise, that we hadn't won fairly. What did we do? We subjected ourselves. We submitted ourselves to another election, right? We went back to the people. And that is what should be the case. And while on that point, Joe, there is the issue where we are even battling now with, there are several issues that are being put on the table. Some of it being projected against the elections before. That we have not had elections that are credible. And that is why we need to change the constitution. That's why we need to engage in the process of BBI. We've had many suggestions, including how do we deal with this thing called winner take all and that kind of thing, right? It's all against that backdrop, against that background, that people are asking themselves, are elections rigged? Do we have credible elections? And I have my thoughts around it, if you allow me. First, when we say winner take all, what are we saying? Because the ultimate of a competition is that there will be a winner and a loser, right? That's a democracy. There will be a winner and a loser. The process must make it possible for us to arrive at that outcome credibly, right? Credibly. And if there is any issue about the outcome, there is a process like the one NASA took in 2017 of going to an election court and determining whether it was fair or not, right? Now, I have a small problem with us making suggestions that may give the indication that we don't want a democracy. We don't want to compete. My friend Joe, if we run away from a democracy, what are we going to? How do we arrive? Because when you go to an election, it is not necessarily about people competing. It's about policy positions. We go to elections to give Kenyans options. When Kenyans say we are voting for this, they are voting for their belief in what that political party is proposing as their policy position.
This winner take all, when a deputy president, I would imagine that that the person who has spoken the most about it is actually the president, including yesterday in his speech where he was actually talking about us running away from this situation where winner takes all, a zero-sum game, he called it, where the winner takes it all.
No, but you see, that's what we need to unpack. What does it mean? Yeah? What does it mean?
What does it mean to you?
No, because we need to follow through. We must continue, in my very honest opinion, to have elections. What we must do is to make sure those elections are credible. When we say that we want an outcome where there is no winner, no loser, what do we mean? We are completely misunderstanding the whole scenario. What must be the case is like what we did in Jubilee. We won the election, but the policy positions we proposed when we went to the elections, they were not for Jubilee members. They were for Kenyans. When we ran the whole program of technical training colleges, it is in every constituency in Kenya. When we ran our electricity program, it is in every part of Kenya, every Kenyan, 45 million of us. When we ran the program on our infrastructure, road, rail, it is a national program. So let us not misunderstand that if one person wins, they go and work for the people who voted for them. That's not the case, right? They work for everybody. And whoever does not win in that election, right, it's not that they have lost, right? It is that they have a different job. Now they will not govern, but they will provide oversight. And that oversight is as important as the people governing, because the proposals that have been made, which Kenyans have voted for, it is now the responsibility of the people in the opposition to make sure that those policies are implemented by the people who have been elected, or the party that has been elected. And it also gives an opportunity for the people who did not win, or who lost for that matter, to refashion, their policy positions, to rethink, and present themselves at the next election.
That's a very powerful. That point is very powerfully made.
That's what we should look at.
But I would like to put you on record on this whole issue of the push, as we speak right now, to amend the Constitution. Yes. What is your view on this attempt to amend the 2010 Constitution?
Well, first, I don't know what is being amended. Right?
Would you like to be it to be amended?
But you must know first what is being amended.
No, it's not like there are some people out there coming to amend it. It's Kenyans like you. Would you like it to see it amended? That is a fair question.
Joe, that's not a very fair question.
No, it is.
You're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, what are the issues? What are we trying to deal with? To the best of my knowledge, this whole push is being pushed by leaders. It's not being pushed by the public, by the people. The people at this moment in time, and I engage with many of them, the people are concerned about their jobs. They have lost jobs. They have lost livelihoods. They are concerned about their children. They are concerned about what they will eat. At this point in time, they are concerned about this corona. Where is it going to end? There seems to be no end in sight. That is their concern. That's the concern of many people. And I would wish that those of us who are in leadership can plug into that conversation where Kenyans are thinking about their livelihoods. Unfortunately, many of us are concerned more about how we are going to rearrange the Constitution so that we can, create some positions. This thing about changing the Constitution is very weird. We went to Bomas. The first draft was brought to us, and everybody said, fine. If this is the document, we have absolutely no problem with it. because largely it presented issues that were to be implemented, administrative issues, policy issues, and not much, right? And we all agreed. But then, I don't know who complained, because I have never heard anybody who complained about the document. But somehow, the document was taken back, and now we are waiting. So we don't know whether it will come the way it was, or whether it is. Do you have a clue of what could be in this thing?
I think the president does, because yesterday he actually said this is the time to amend the constitution.
Yes.
He spent a good part of his speech yesterday speaking about the need to amend the constitution. So I'm finding it very strange that...
There is nothing strange. You see...
I'm finding it very strange that where you sit, you actually think it is not a priority, that the priority is delivery of services to the people and all of these things. You are in the same party with the president. You ran on the same platform. I would imagine that your policy priorities would be the same at this point. It clearly is not, because... Are you
aware, Joe, that the only political party who did not have a position in the BBI is Jubilee? Are you aware that there was no position that was presented to BBI that came from Jubilee as a party? Because it is not a matter we discussed in the party. Right? And I am not saying what you're saying. What I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, when this document is finally unveiled, it will have some things that would actually persuade us that it is a priority at the moment, and then maybe we can persuade the people that yes, your priority could be food, could be your job, could be your business, could be your child going to school. But we have another priority here, you know? And you know, the Constitution is a social contract. It is between the governed and the governors, right? So it's not something for us to decide as government. Right?
You'd understand but you'd understand my dilemma here.
It is something that has to be worked out, right? Between Kenyans, you know, between Kenyans. It's not a government position that we are taking a position as government.
So you are saying, Dr. Ruto, that the things that the president has been saying, neither Jubilee position nor government position, those are his personal views as Uhuru Kenyatta?
Well, I don't know about that, but the best of my knowledge, we have never had a meeting as Jubilee to discuss, right, about our position in changing the Constitution.
That being an important issue that it is your philosophy, you said, yet we haven't seen you give those views to the BBI, which at this moment, that task force is supposedly the one that is going to bring the report that could be taken to a referendum, that could determine how this constitutional issue is settled. How is it that these views that you hold so strongly haven't been shared with this task force?
Joe, one, we haven't presented to the task force a party position. I would have canvassed.
But that's a personal view, and there are individuals who've presented.
I would have canvassed my position, and I have pushed for my position using other avenues into the BBI. The conversation as to whether they will take them up or not is a different story.
So you have spoken to the BBI team?
Not directly, but I have made sure that they have, those views are part of what they have. Yeah.
There are people listening to you
because I did not, now that the president, who is my boss, did not present his views, and we did not present views as a party, I didn't want to look like I am, doing something that is not quite correct. That's why I decided, let me use alternative avenues so that it remains tidy.
A lot of people listening to you, Bwana DP, will be saying, you and the president seem to be having all these diametrically opposed views on even very fundamental things. The president seems to have seized this matter of changing the constitution as an important part of his legacy. And he, in fact, believes that the BBI is a vehicle through which this is going to be delivered. But from everything that you've been saying, it doesn't appear to me that you have that much confidence in what is going on right now around changing the constitution.
You see, changing the constitution...
You wouldn't even say whether it should be changed right now or not.
No, changing the constitution is not something that we can decide as a party, because it is something for all Kenyans to do. It's not something that I can say my legacy is to change the constitution. Right? It is something that Kenyans, supposing I say my legacy is to change the constitution and then Kenyans don't change the constitution. What does that mean? Right? So that cannot be. And I don't think the president has said changing the constitution is part of his legacy.
No, he doesn't have to say it, Bwana DP. We have seen he has invested so much political energy. He has even got into a deal with the person who was his fiercest rival in the election. And it seems to me that changing the constitution is an important part of it. So important that yesterday, on the back of a COVID-19 briefing, he found it necessary to remind the country it's important to change the constitution.
It seems to you, right?
It doesn't seem to you?
It seems to you that is what you are imagining what the president wants. Yeah? But the president he knows how to change the constitution. Are you telling me the president does not know that to change the constitution you have to involve the people of Kenya? Yeah? And for your information, what I am saying does not mean that the constitution will not be changed. Those are my views. But ultimately, Joe, what will happen is whether we change the constitution, it will be Kenyans to decide to change the constitution. And you know I'm a Democrat, you know? And I live with what Kenyans, the majority of Kenyans have decided. Yeah, I had views about this the constitution we have today. Yeah, but when Kenyans decided that this is the constitution, I folded my views and lived with the constitution that there is. So,
and yet now there's an opportunity to change it, and you don't think it's a priority?
I have my own views, yeah, about changing the constitution. Right? I need to be persuaded on what areas to change. I will, I don't think we want to change the constitution for the sake of changing the constitution. If there are persuasive areas that will make the constitution better, that will be presented when the new draft of proposals come up, we are reasonable people, right? We will look at it, and if they merit, the people of Kenya will decide, and we will do what we have to do.
As we finish,
but you cannot say that I cannot have views, because that's what you seem to be saying, and that by having my own views, and they are not the same as the ones of the president or the ones of Raila or the ones of the next guy, then you find that there is a problem. Are you saying that we cannot have different views?
What I am saying, that maybe I haven't spoken very good English, but this is the question.
Because I'm trying to be.
This is what I want to find out from you today. Yes. Are you going on record to say that as the deputy president or as William Ruto or in whatever capacity, you do not think that today it is a priority for us to change the 2010 constitution?
Until I am persuaded.
By who?
By the content. You know, do you know what needs to be changed? Joe, maybe you are in a better position than me. Many Kenyans are in my position.
To be asking the questions tonight. Not answering.
Do you know what needs to be? Do you have a clue of what needs to be changed. Because if it was what we saw in Bomas 1, we have absolutely, and I made my position very clear, we have absolutely no problem.
So as it is now, you don't see a reason to change it?
I don't have a basis, because I don't have a document. And I don't have a position.
When you look, it's not like the document, it's not like the positions are coming from another country. I'm saying when you look at the 2010 constitution, which I'm sure you have read as the deputy president, do you find anything there that is pressing enough to be changed in 2020 as we speak?
I think what is much more pressing is something like the gender rule that we have not implemented. I think that's something that we should be concerned about. Right? Because it is a live pronouncement of the new constitution. And we have a duty to make sure that every article and every clause of the constitution is implemented.
What is your standing within the Jubilee Party today?
What do you mean standing?
Because we've seen a cacophony going on in that party. We don't even know who is, for example, the vice chair of the party resigned, come back. We don't know anything that's going on in the party. Is Jubilee functioning as a party?
Well, of course, Jubilee is not functioning as a party. There is a problem. You know, we have a challenge in the party because President Uhuru Kenyatta and I and many other people worked tirelessly to put together a national political party. We folded about 10 or 12 political parties to form Jubilee. I went out of my way. I was running a party with 75 members of parliament called URP. Uhuru Kenyatta was running TNA. Many other people were running other parties. I remember I went out of my way to persuade people like Kiraitu Murungi to fold the bus. I went out of my way to persuade people like Ken Lusaka. I even had to organize a delegation for the leadership of New Ford Kenya then, for me to speak to them about why it was necessary for us to form a national political party. And it was our position then with President Uhuru Kenyatta that we should have a party that is national, where every Kenyan from every persuasion, from every community would feel at home in that party. And that is how we formed Jubilee as a party, right? And I am very passionate about a national political party because I know therein lies the solution to our problems, political problems as a nation. The only way we can get rid of ethnicity, we can get rid of regionalism, we can actually entrench values of gender balance and all the other good values, is when we have a functional national political party. And if there is one thing that I want to achieve as a politician, is to finally make Jubilee a national political party, a party that every community in Kenya feels at home. The President Uhuru Kenyatta, as our party leader, has laid the foundation, right? And today, out of 41 counties, we have elected either MCA, member of parliament, senator, governor, in 41. It's only in 6 counties that we didn't find somebody elected in the last general election, right? Unfortunately, and this is tragic, you know, the party has been hijacked by busybodies and conmen, and brokers like Morade and company. Yeah, people who have no clue where why the philosophy behind Jubilee. They were nowhere. Yeah, we appointed them into those positions as a caretaker, waiting for us to have elections so that we can have elected officials in the party. Unfortunately, they have hijacked the party, and they are now running it in a way that is unbelievable. They are running it through fiat. You take this position or you get out of the party. This is the party position. You ask them, when did the party meet? They have changed. Their word has become the party position. Have you consulted the party leader? Have you consulted the deputy party leader? Now, that is the challenge we have in Jubilee.
Why would that be a challenge, Dr. Ruto, considering that you and the president, as you said, worked very hard to build this party? He is the president. That's a very powerful position, even in the country. You are the deputy president. You're speaking almost as if you do not have any control whatsoever. Have you lost control of the party?
Admittedly, there is a problem in the party. You can see, quite clearly.
Is that why I'm trying to find out? Like, and how can they overwhelm the two of you?
The same, and I have told them, the same virus that infected Kanu and finally killed it, the virus of people with a different opinion being kicked out of the party or of positions, has now come to Jubilee, unfortunately. You've seen close to 60 or so members of parliament have been ejected from committees, from positions in the party.
What do these people have?
Mainly,
do they have guns?
Mainly because they say they have a different view or position. You ask them, a different position from who? From what? Why? There is only one government. There is only one leader, right? And you see, the mistake Kanu made was to kick out so many people until one day they discovered there were more people outside than inside. And what happened is that those who were outside ganged up. And that is how Kanu went into oblivion.
What you are saying may well be very true. This is just the one thing I'm sure the millions of supporters of Jubilee across Kenya tonight will be asking themselves. Yes. If the deputy president, who is the deputy party leader of this party, is speaking as if there are some people within the party that are more powerful than him, that have taken over the party in government and doing whatsoever they wish with the party, and he seemingly cannot do anything about it. That is mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling, Joe. But that is the sad story of our party. We have been unable to have any serious party meeting, to discuss anything, any policy positions, or to discuss what should happen. And the position is really unfortunate. You've just said that there are public officials who insult me and call me names. The same ones now in Jubilee, they've gone public to say, we are not going to give Ruto the ticket, even if he wins in 2022. they have gone public to say we can even choose not to field a candidate in 2022. We will try and sort this out as a party, I promise you. We will, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and I as leader and party leader and deputy will have to find a way of sorting out these brokers.
The elephant in the room, Dr. Ruto, which you are not dealing with, in my view, is the president, the leader of this party.
How we can bring back the party to that party where we believed that it should be. On how we manage the affairs of the party.
Why don't you resign and just start something else that you, William Ruto, be in full control of? Because you don't seem to be in full control of Jubilee.
Where does the resign come from?
Because if you're within and there are people who have taken over a party, you sound very disappointed that the party you worked so hard to put together is going the wrong way, and you're almost throwing your hands in the air and saying, there's nothing I can do about it. Those people are doing whatever they want.
I haven't thrown
Supposing you had your own party where you can do whatever you think is right.
I haven't thrown my hands in the air. I still believe there is a chance and there is a possibility for us to sort out issues in Jubilee, because the kind of investment we've put in there, it will be tragic if we were to lose. Jubilee. It would be tragic.
You have painted a rather desperate picture here about your party Jubilee.
No, it's not desperate. It's because just a realistic figure, a realistic situation.
Yeah. So, but in a sense, it looks like a gloomy picture you're painting about your party. You're the deputy leader of that party. You have a leader of the party, and you're saying you're going to try and resolve these things. Hopefully, you will. But what happens if you don't manage?
You see, we will cross that river when we get there. And if it becomes completely hopeless and Jubilee is hijacked by these brokers, then Waswahili wanasema kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa kupika. Si ndio bwana? Lakini kupika lazima. So we will make that decision as Jubilee members at that point when it becomes impossible. If they succeed in this scheme they are saying, they will deny us an opportunity, or they will make sure that there is no fielding of candidates. Then we will look at the options at that point with the rest of the membership of the party.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. William Ruto, speaking to us on this 10th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution as we try to analyze what has happened, what has worked, what are the hits, what are the misses. Remember that our coverage, Katiba at 10, continues here on Citizen TV all week long. Good evening. My name is Joe again.
Oh, do you people think I'm going crazy? You think I'm losing my mind, eh?
I had nothing to do with Maria.
What do you mean?
Did you know there's a laundry bar soap that can help save you time, water, and money? Try Whitewash Extra, the 3-in-1 soap, detergent, and softener.
The Samsung Glutag sale, our biggest sale of the year. Buy the S20 series and get 50% discount on Galaxy Buds. Buy the Note 10 Lite and get 20% discount. A71, A51, 50% off screen repair. Buy the A31 or M11, get a mem card. Buy the A11, get a Safaricom voucher. Buy the 82-inch Samsung TV, get the sound tower. Buy the Samsung fridge, get a cookware set or a blender. Hurry while stocks last. The Samsung Blue Tag sale, valid from August 17th to September 6th.
Sagodi rada. Imekuwa siku mob sana. Leo nimekaa manzi nataka tuchapiane. Natakuombea hao mayouth wote, mbogi zote za kila area. Sasa hii life imekuwa hard sana, lakini tunatambua wewe ndio bazenga. Manzi hakuna wera, hakuna hustle, tunajaribu bana na ifunguki. Shida zimeitana kuitana. Jana hayo manzi imemulika kumulika. Unaona? Tutoe kwa ingori God bana. Jue wenyewe ndio big man bazu. Cheza tu kaa wewe, yani shughuli zifunguke saja. Nenge itatumaliza bana. Hata unajua tu tumbo ikiitisha imeitisha. Cheza tu kama wewe Fadela. Yenyewe ndio mzito. Hakuna mwingine kama wewe. Wewe cheza tu kiwewe.
Dial *811 *346# to get Sheng prayer.
Je, umekuwa ukisumbuliwa na mende? Kenagro Suppliers Limited inakuletea iClips 100 CS. Unaweza kutumia iClips nyumbani au katika maeneo yoyote ya umma. Haina harufu wala mwasho na huzuia na kuangamiza mende wote ikifikia walio mafichoni. iClips huwa mbu vile vile. Pata iClips kwa Agrovet iliyo karibu nawe. Kwa maelezo zaidi wasiliana nasi kupitia nambari hii au tembelea mitandao yetu ya kijamii ya Kenagro Online. Tumia iClips umalize mende kabisa.
Well, this is awkward. If only he had amazing data.
Come on, man!
Come on, man! Never miss out on great moments. Enjoy 3 GB plus free WhatsApp for 99 bob daily. Or 300 MB plus free WhatsApp for 20 bob daily. Dial *544#.
Come on, man! Airtel, the smartphone network.
Get all the news you need from all your favorite sources in one place. Viusasa Top News has all the stories making headlines in Kenya and around the world. No need to spend precious time looking for news and information from all over the place. Viusasa Top News has all the news together in one place. Watch anytime, anywhere. Viusasa Top News. News as it happens at your fingertips.
Mint Villa Housing presents Savannah Greens Estate, located 30 minutes from the CBD at Joska, Kangundo Road. 3-bedroom master and suite, sitting on an eighth of an acre with ready title deeds, going for 5.9 million Kenya shillings only. For more details, call 0710 500 100. Mint Villa Housing, guiding you home.
The Nuclear Power and Energy Agency NUPER mandate entails development of nuclear power program for electricity generation in Kenya, carrying out research and development of energy technologies and capacity building for the energy sector. At NUPER, we have joined the nation's fight against COVID-19, and together with the Ministry of Energy, we handed over testing equipment and PPEs to Kenyatta National Hospital from the International Atomic Energy Agency. The Nuclear Power and Energy Agency. We care for you.
Now, you can always be sure it's Equity calling. When we call you, we will use only this number, 0763 000 000. Always be sure it is Equity calling.
Our latest technology pocket spring mattresses come with many individual micro springs. Do not panic when you sit on the edge. The mattress won't collapse. This is wrong testing. You're putting pressure on just a few springs. When testing, lie down to experience the entire spring system. Visit our showrooms countrywide and enjoy 25% discount. Dr. Mattress. Better sleep, better health.
The new Infinix Note 7 with side-mounted fingerprint and a 48-megapixel quad camera for the perfect picture. The Note 7 has a G70 high-gain performance engine. The Infinix Note 7.
Infinix, the future is now.
Do you know meningococcal meningitis can kill within 24 hours or have severe sequelae? It is vaccine preventable. For babies 9 months to 23 months, WHO recommends 2 doses of quadrivalent meningococcal vaccine 12 weeks apart. Transmission from person to person is through respiratory droplets. It could be a cough or a sneeze. Crowded areas such as students in dormitories or travelers, including those on pilgrimages, are at high risk. Protect your child from this fatal disease by asking your healthcare practitioner for meningococcal meningitis vaccination.
Delivery kibao. Usijali, biashara iendele na Co-Bank Asset Finance. Get this truck with 95% financing, 500,000 shillings working capital, and enjoy 60 days repayment holiday and comprehensive insurance as well. Endeleza biashara by contacting us on 0703 027 000 for more details.
We will be getting into your feedback on that interview that was conducted by Royal Media Services Editorial Director Joe Ageo with Kenya's Deputy President Dr. William Ruto. The hashtag is Ruto Speaks Out. I'll be getting to that. But first, tonight's business news. The government has released guidelines for importers of second-hand clothes, popularly known as mitumba, effectively paving the way for resumption of the trade. In the protocol, mitumba importers will now be required to register with the Kenya Bureau of Standards as one of the measures to ensure safety and accountability. The imports will be packed in bales not exceeding 50 kilograms. Mitumba importers will also be required to obtain a pre-shipment fumigation certificate in addition to complying with the current health protocols. They will further be required to submit to KRA a list of their first-tier customers for contact tracing and tax compliance. Mitumba traders had earlier on appealed to the government to publish fair protocols which will enable them continue with their trade in a sustainable manner. Maize farmers in the western part of the country have received a major boost as they prepare for the upcoming short rain planting season. This follows fertilizer distribution to the counties of Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega and Vihiga by Yara East Africa. The initiative, dubbed Action Africa, will enable farmers boost their production during the August-October season as part of the organization's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Over 20,000 smallholder farmers across Kenya have benefited from the support, with over 65% of them being in Western Kenya region, famed as the country's breadbasket.
Every county right now, like us in Busia, we want to ensure that we want to make agriculture very attractive to the youths. Let us mechanize it, let us increase the production and profitability, create cottage industries and all those things.
If you combine all the farmers getting these fertilizers, Western Bloc alone will be able to produce more than 100,000 bags of maize. So we see it as a more than the donation.
Erastus Mwencha is the new chairman of Equity Bank Kenya Limited. In a statement, the lender says the board approved the appointment, which will see Mwencha take over from Professor Isaac Macharia, who was recently picked as Equity Group Chairman. Mwencha has previously served as Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission and the Secretary General of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, for 10 years.
I'll do the best I can to continue to lift the aspirations of the bank and also to lift the bank to live to the noble objectives of being a bank, a leading institution in terms of socio-economic transformation.
We start off our sports news tonight with what's happening in FKF. Kakamega Homeboys coach Nicholas Moyoti has presented his nomination papers to the FKF Electoral Board to vie for the Busia County Branch Secretary position. The county nomination exercise has been complete and the verification exercise done today and will be completed tomorrow. A preliminary list of county candidates will be published on Saturday. The National Executive Committee and presidential aspirants will present their nomination papers on the 31st of August, that's on Monday. September 19th is the date set aside for county elections, while the national elections are set for October 17th, 2020. The elections have been cancelled twice by the Sports Disputes Tribunal. All right, let's go further afield now. FC Barcelona fans staged a protest outside the Camp Nou Stadium to demand the resignation of President Josep Maria Bartomeu after captain Lionel Messi told the club he wants to leave the Catalan side. Protesters chanted slogans against Bartomeu and said he should face the situation and step aside, hoping Messi will change his mind and stay on the Catalan side. Barcelona remain keen on rebuilding their team around captain Lionel Messi. Yesterday, Messi's lawyer sent a document to Barcelona expressing the 33-year-old's desire to activate a release clause in his contract, which would allow him to leave for nothing. Barcelona, however, says that that clause has expired and a rival club must pay his